So basketball was finished, and with that, I discovered a new sense of freedom. I made the decision to make a trip to a country that I hadn't yet set foot in, Romania. It would be the 39th country I visited, and I wanted to make the most of it. My reason for this trip was twofold. First, my friend Tyler, the one who, back in 2023, flew all the way to Albania to give me a tattoo, had expressed a desire to do a road trip through Romania. We have tentatively planned to meet there later this year to make it happen. And this quick weekend trip would help me get a feel for a few things before we dove in head first.
Look at this place. Oh, there it is. That's the entirety. Wow. Running water. Perfect. Easy.
The second reason was to visit a few guys that I know, who moved there from Albania for university. But as it turned out, I had accidentally booked my flights for Easter weekend, and all of the students went home for the break. So as I headed to Romania, my friends came back to Albania, turning this into the first truly solo trip I had made since Christmas of 2018. Not traveling with anyone, not going to visit anyone, just me and my camera. The other big part of the story is Easter. Easter is by far the biggest holiday in Romania, and arguably the worst time to make a solo trip to the country. Because on Easter Sunday, and sometimes the surrounding days, things shut down. Restaurants close, supermarkets shutter their doors, and everyone spends time with their family. But despite these few minor setbacks, I made the decision to go through with the trip anyways. I found my way to my Airbnb, a tiny home about 400 meters from the train station. It was small, but since I wasn't going to be inside of it much, it wouldn't matter. Because it didn't take me long to head back out the door and start exploring part of Bucharest.
I forgot how much I enjoy just wandering around a random city. I'm trying to find something to eat now, but I have no idea where I am. I'm basically lost, and I'm so happy about it.
And after meandering through the city on a scooter for a bit and a quick dinner, I stopped by a supermarket to get food for the next few days, just in case I couldn't find another option, and took a scooter back to my bed. I've never been a fan of big cities, so when I heard that the train system in Romania works decently well, I did some digging to find a smaller town that I could head to for a night. And so after getting some work done in a coffee shop for an hour, I boarded a train and headed into the mountains of Transylvania. first half of the ride was through open fields and small communities. But it didn't take long for the foothills to start rising from the earth, and before I knew it, we snaked through densely wooded mountains. After a little over 2 hours, I had finally arrived to my final destination of Brașov.
Let's see if they have anything for cooking. Okay, we can work with this. Any pots or pans? Dishwasher.
The apartment I had booked was small, but it had all the essentials that I needed, specifically a place to cook for myself in case I couldn't find another place to eat, and a bed. And then I stepped out of the front gate and across the street, finding myself right in the center of the old town.
That's a nice piece.
There was an energy and excitement in the air that is hard to explain. Maybe it was just people like me on a vacation of some sort and exploring a new city. Or maybe it was the anticipation of the celebration that would happen over the next day or so. I walked the cobbled streets for a while, snapping photos, feeling the sun on my face and admiring the spring flowers as I passed under the shadow of the black church. And if you're interested in seeing the photos I took while I was on this trip, you can support me on Patreon and unlock photos from all of my adventures. The link is in the video description.
When I was told that things in Romania closed the day before Easter, they were not kidding. Every shop that I walked by is closed. Oh, except for this one. Almost every shop that I walked by is closed.
It was the day before Easter, and people were everywhere. Not knowing what the evening might look like, I went back to my apartment to get some work done and have a meal. I had just finished eating when I noticed a back gate into the courtyard. I knew where the front gate led, and that I had a key for it, but I knew nothing about the back. Not wanting to waste time that could be spent exploring, I ventured out into the unknown and found myself on the outside of the walls of the old city. A babbling brook ran along the side of the wall, and despite the drizzling rain, I explored further. As the sun fled and the colors on the clouds faded, I went back to the apartment. I spent a few hours watching the NBA playoffs as I waited for the Easter festivities in the town square to begin, and before long, I was right back outside to take in a Romanian Orthodox Easter service.
Cu inima curată să te mărim. Învierea ta, Hristoase, Mântuitorule, îngerii o laudă în ceruri. Învierea ta, Hristoase, Mântuitorule, îngerii o laudă în ceruri. Și pe noi pe pământ ne învrednicește, cu inima curată să te mărim. Dar îngerul vorbind femeilor a zis, nu vă temeți voi, căci știu că pe Iisus ce răstigniți căutați, nu este aici, că s-a sculat precum am zis. Veniți de vedeți locul unde a zăcut Domnul. Duceți-vă de grab și spuneți ucenicilor săi că s-a sculat din morți și va merge mai înainte de voi în Galileea.
Hristos a înviat! Hristos a înviat din morți, cu moartea pe moarte călcând, și celor din morminte viață dăruindu-le. Hristos a înviat din morți, cu moartea pe moarte călcând, și celor din morminte viață dăruindu-le. Hristos a înviat din morți, cu moartea pe moarte călcând, și celor din morminte viață dăruindu-le.
The next morning came early after a late night listening to the service. I had to be out of my Airbnb and had a train to catch, but there was just enough time in between for me to visit another local church for their Easter service. Despite not being as popular of an event as the night before in the town square, it was still a pleasant service. And I met a number of people there, all of whom insisted that I stay after the service for their potluck meal before I headed off to the train back to the capital. I'm not sure if it was my poor sleeping on this trip or general dehydration, but that evening returning to Bucharest, I had a splitting headache. I felt too weak to leave the apartment that I was in, so I cooked myself some dinner, and I did my best to get through the evening without making my pain worse. And I took a brief moment to appreciate all I can do on my phone. I didn't realize how helpful it was for me until I took a step back. On this trip specifically, I had used it to book train tickets, find my way around multiple cities, request Ubers, and unlock various scooters. And on top of all of that, it was my primary camera for this trip. I'm certain I could have accomplished all of this without a phone, but the convenience and assistance it provides should not go unspoken. As it turned out, this being a solo trip didn't end up affecting me too much. I saw places I wouldn't have seen otherwise. I met people I never would have met, and had conversations about liturgical theology with strangers on a street corner at 2 a.m. What was initially a frustrating mistake of booking a flight without looking closely at the dates ended up being a truly cherished memory of my first time visiting this intriguing country. And if all goes according to plan, it won't be my last. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back soon.